bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor.
How you doing?
I'm doing.
that about wraps it up.
That about wraps it up.
Yeah, that tells you what it is.
Yeah, right there. That's what it is.
Yeah. I'm doing great.
Yeah,
He says, just apropos of absolutely nothing.
How are you doing?
Oh, well, I'm doing
Cal?
great. I'm doing great.
Okay, all right.
I'm a co-host of the number 7 ranked anime and manga podcast in Canada, even though I don't live there.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Called Sailor Noob.
Yeah.
And number 23 in Great Britain, by the way.
Not too
tearing
shabby.
up the Commonwealth.
I know.
I don't know what's wrong with America. And I'm having a good time. I made some delicious street tacos for dinner. And
You did.
I got to watch one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Star Trek episodes ever. So I'm having a great day so far.
It was a good Star Trek
Just
episode.
back-to-back taping episodes, just shooting them out.
Yeah. Here they go out of the Sapporo beer gun.
What? Specifically Sapporo? Is that a thing at Japanese
that's what
baseball
I
games?
thought.
Do they have a duff man for Sapporo?
I don't know, but I want it to be true. I wouldn't be surprised if there was something like that because they're so enthusiastic about baseball and they love beer. So,
But mascots here are rowdy. That's what they're supposed to be. So you're a tiger
True.
or a chicken or a gritty, and you are supposed to do crazy things, rile people up, pants the other mascots.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of tomfoolery. Would that be accepted in Japan? Their mascots are cute.
They
and
are
they represent
cute.
a town.
yeah.
And they're a marmoset or something like that.
But they must have,
And they have giant balls.
I feel like, yeah, well, it sometimes, yes. But then you look at traditional Japanese culture and Tanuki have giant balls.
Maybe
too,
the
so-
self-possessedness of, that's probably not a word, of a duff man would work over there.
Maybe. I mean,
But not Surly.
no.
Surly only cares about Surly.
Right.
Those are Simpsons bits.
There has to be their love of mascots and baseball. There has to be baseball mascots. I just don't know what they are.
There absolutely probably does.
Yeah, yeah. You're laughing at me because I'm struggling.
I'm just, yeah, I am a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe back to Star Trek.
We can go back to Star Trek.
I've been watching old Star Treks.
Yes.
And, I've been realizing it's been a while since I've seen some of these old Star Treks. Not decades, just a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to say that I've changed so much in a year or two. But
been
a
a long
lot of
year.
them are, there's a different, it has been a long year. There's a different approach, different look to some of them. Mm-hmm. And you understand why some people don't like them.
Yeah, I'm getting that as well.
But I think mostly, and the original series, we've been talking about the original series this entire time. This is another problem.
TOS.
When I say Star Trek, people think of a lot of things, but we're talking about Kirk and crew in the original series. There are absolutely some episodes that are just don't fly today, just don't work.
Yeah, right. They have not aged well.
But I think that it's weird because it doesn't mean that like everybody has just been a horrible person up until the time that we invented hashtags.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd be impossible. Sure, we forgive older media because we say it was a different time or it's backwards or whatever. And I don't honestly believe that just everybody was terrible and some of them did something about it, like joined the Klan or something, and the good people did nothing about it. I think that there are people, definitely half of the population was women, and they respected, hopefully, themselves. And if they were given the opportunity to write, as some women did for Star Trek, they'd produce something good. But you say, yeah, but there's institutional sexism. They're rewritten by other people. They themselves are writing things that they have learned to accept and write.
Sure. Yeah.
And then we can just plug in minorities, black people, Asian people, all the way down the line.
Right.
Where am I going with this? The point is I don't want to cancel TOS, okay? I think that there's actually some really great episodes.
I think so too.
And I'm glad that Dagger of the Mind passed my sniff test. Even though it specifically involves a personal relationship between the captain and another woman on the ship.
Yes.
Which Kirk allows to interfere with his professionalism.
He does.
And if
He
we
does.
look at it, and you can say, and I might say, yeah, but the show's on his side. He's the captain.
True.
And I think that sometimes that's true. But I think in this specific episode, it is kind of his problem. And he is being a prick. And I think, again, I'm not 100% sure that Gene Roddenberry thought so too. But I think that many people at the time, and even people who were writing it, and maybe Shatner himself, was thinking like, Kirk's got a problem with this lady.
Mm-mm.
And the scenario is that I guess they met at a party. They're having a Christmas party on the ship.
Yeah, I guess.
In the beach room where Frankie and Annette are. And like they hit it off, but they didn't hit it off. Like it seems like it was going somewhere, and then we don't really know what happened.
Right. It went sour at some point.
And then later on in the episode, it's funny because there's this character of this woman, Dr. Helen Noel, who boy, this is okay. We'll try to do this real fast because not the Star Trek show. They go to a prison planet, and the idea is it's not just a prison,
planet,
right?
yeah.
It's not just a prison, but it's a rehabilitative center.
Yes.
Where they're using all kinds of weird. Here's another thing that we need to be careful about, and maybe cancel TOS for. But criminals are sick, so we could cure them with a beam or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I think the implication is that some of them might be suffering from mental illness or something.
No,
like
yeah,
that.
absolutely. But they're equating like crime with mental illness and not the causes of
Yes,
crime.
Exactly.
Right. But it's written by somebody else said this so good the other day, and I can't remember where it was. And good, I don't have to credit them. Mm-mm. But they were saying that it's a show that's set in the future. It's set in the 2260s, but written in the 60s by guys that were born in the 20s or the teens.
Yeah, yes.
And I think, unfortunately, it might have been Paul F. Tompkins.
Oh, okay. You're saying unfortunately because you're not super enthused.
But I think it was him because I hear it in his
voice.
In his voice, Paul F. Tompkins. But anyway, that's a good sum up of something that I've been saying on Enterprising Individuals a lot. And so the point is that you've got these characters. He's a superior. She's an inferior. She's also a woman. Doesn't get as many lines. And there are just scenes where he's talking to the doctor who runs the facility, and she's just like playing with the props because they won't talk to her.
Lifting up the statues from where the shelves that they're on. I'm like, what?
They find the mind laser that the bad guy has been using to control people, but they want to test it out. For some reason.
It's like sometimes Kirk gets these harebrained ideas, and they're not always good ideas.
Well, I think that it's anyway, and so they're testing it out, and he's just saying, "Okay, I'll get in the chair. You use the laser on me, and it's like a hypnosis thing. It like influences you." So he says, "Make me do something so we can tell that this works."
Give me some sort of suggestion.
Because they're trying to investigate this. They found this other guy his mind has been wiped, and they need to figure out why. And so she's like, "Okay, I've got the machine. Captain Kirk, you're hungry." And she turns it off, and he's like, "I can murder a plate of weird Jell-O loaf when we get out of here."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, it works." Okay. He's like, "No, do something more intense." And she's like, "Okay. Remember when we were at the Christmas party?
I know.
It went a little differently. We actually went to your room, we made out, and did all this stuff." And it's like you could see it as, oh, she's a girl, and so she's here for romance, and she's mad at him because he didn't want to go all the way with her or whatever. And so she's going to influence this. You could see it that way.
You could.
But again, I don't know what the author intended. And if we can look at all this old media and go, oh, those guys were gay. When the author almost definitely didn't intend that, the modern read is what it matters. Then my modern read is she's messing with him.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
She's a little bit jealous. But she's also professional, and they live in this weird world where you have mind lasers, and she has the opportunity to mess with him a little bit.
But maybe it's also suggesting that she kind of wanted it.
Oh no,
be
definitely,
that way,
yeah, and maybe
sure.
and maybe he did too. But exactly, and so as soon as they're done with it, he turns it off, and maybe she sees that he looks a little chagrined or whatever, and she's like, "So what happened at that party?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't want to talk." She's like, "I did the thing, and also treat me like an equal and not like a." But we didn't get to do that because the bad guy comes in at that point and drags her away.
Well, he messes with him even more and is like,
"You're
in love with her,"
and that's cool too.
Yeah,
because it does something that you would never usually. I think it's a good way to show vulnerability in your character. That it's good and bad because you would normally never let your 60s action hero become smitten with this woman to the point where he can't really function.
Right.
but you want to see that happen. So it's almost like we can't do it. So we invented a laser that lets us do it.
Right.
Because the bad guy goes, no, you're in love with her and you would do anything. Probably because he wants leverage over Kirk because they're going to like threaten her life. And so later on, Kirk's like, oh man, I can't. Oh, I love you so much. And she's like, come on, you got to snap out of it. You know, we got to get out of here.
Like he did this to you. Like I like that she doesn't go along with it, even if there's
the episode could have ended with her being like, I almost had him. I'll never get him back. Like, it's not like that.
No, and she's like, she's horrified as a psychologist, as a scientist. She's like, he put that suggestion in your brain. That's not, snap out of it. Remember.
Yeah.
And
then later she goes on and she diehards through the tunnels and then she kicks a guy into a transformer and saves everybody. So,
I wish that character, I asked you if that character came back.
Mariana Hill.
I thought she was great.
Yeah, but no, she didn't come back.
That's too bad.
But she is in Medium Cool, one of my favorite movies, though.
I do like Medium Cool, so there you go.
So don't cancel it just yet.
Yeah, hold off.
Cancel specific episodes.
Yeah.
Cancel Turnabout Intruder.
Yeah. Okay.
Cancel the Paradise Syndrome for sure.
Okay.
There's only been like a handful.
I'm watching it now all the way through. I've never seen all of the episodes.
Well, you're going to discover there's only been a handful of women that James Kirk has actually truly loved in his entire life.
I'm guessing Helen is not one of them.
Well, he artificially loves her because we never establish if you could wipe that away at the end.
Right.
So
does that
McCoy's
count?
like, because they're on the bridge and for the wrap up, and McCoy's like, you okay? And Kirk's like, just has this really wistful look on his face, and then he's like,
yeah,
I'm fine. It's like, are you fine?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Dr. Noel, Edith Keeler, Miramani, except we canceled Paradise Syndrome. Presumably Carol Marcus, because I mean, I guess you can have a kid with somebody that you don't really love, but hopefully you do. And I can't. That's about it.
Yeah,
maybe a couple more.
Yeah.
There, you had to suffer through Star Trek talk so you can get to your Marvel and DC talk on the Just Enough Joe podcast. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mikan Hana. I was quiet because I'm not as excited as you might think.
We're here to talk about all the news that's fit to cast in the world of nerdy entertainment. And the big news, the biggest news, the longest news, is the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut on HBO Max.
4 hours and 2 minutes.
Which we will not spend 4 hours talking about.
No.
But we will talk about in our feature at the end of the show. Before that, we also going to talk about the other side of the aisle. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Or maybe just the Falcon, also the Winter Soldier.
I think it's the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Well, it seems like they'd be together then, doesn't it? But we'll talk about that
fair.
later in the show as well. And of course, as always, the news. Yes. I already asked you how you are.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk about a sci-fi series that people don't like it when we talk about it, now's the time.
I've just been really busy with the shows. We watched a colossally long movie for this week. It just took up so much of my time.
Every hour past 2, it's like when you turn an assignment in late, It's like every day is a half letter grade. Yeah. It's a star for every hour past 2, as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly.
Not to give away my rating.
Yeah, it was too long. Not to give away my rating, but that took up
just breeze by though.
Oh boy. Oh my goodness.
If it's so long that the computer comes up, are you still watching?
I know, right? Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's not do that to our listeners. Let's get right into the news. Well, sad news in the news, the death of Yaphet Kotto, character actor, and all around cool guy, interesting guy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, it's too bad. Tell me more. I don't really know that much about who this is, although I probably know who
absolutely do.
Yeah, okay.
He's in Alien, he's in The Running Man, he's in Live and Let Die.
Oh god, no. I know. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I mean, it was like Sunday morning. Like when we were releasing last week's show.
I'm so sorry. I totally blanked for. Yeah, I know who this is now. He was in the original Alien film. He was one of the members of the crew.
Yeah. Was on Homicide: Life on the Street for a long time.
For a long time.
Yeah. Well, the show wasn't on for a long time, but.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then like he was, one of he was a main villain in that Bond film, which I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, you have.
Have I?
Roger Moore jumps on crocodile heads.
See, that sounds familiar.
Jane Seymour. The car stunt where the car does a barrel roll.
See, that doesn't sound familiar.
Well, they all kind of run together after a while.
I feel like the crocodile head thing, I could have just seen that in a clip somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what
maybe.
I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
So I'm not 100% sure I've seen that one. So
yeah,
anyways.
he was a unique guy. He was, I feel like I'm damning him with faint praise. I don't want to damn him with faint praise. He was an amazing actor, and he was, an outspoken person. He was a personality in the way that, like, I don't know, Tom Cruise or Ryan Gosling, just pick your actor. Like, sure, they're on screen, they look good, and they're given the lines, but then what do they do in their lives? Like they just hang out or whatever.
Right.
But he was just like a cool guy. Sigourney Weaver left a message that specifically was about Alien. She was like, gonna miss him. This is Parker. Oh, this is Ripley. Over and out, like type thing. And so clearly, like, they just, really bonded on that movie, even though he wasn't really nice to her all the time on that movie.
Oh, like on the set?
He's done a lot of interviews and he's talked about how, because it was like our first movie, and he was really getting the character. And of course the character, Parker and Ripley don't really get along. And so at first he was doing that to her. But I think like later on, years later, probably he was like, I was kind of mean to her. And I think they sort of like patched it up a little bit. Yeah. But he's like, I'm going to say he didn't cross the Noonan line. The Tom Noonan line.
I was worried about that.
But he was definitely a guy, he was an intense performer, and he's a guy that really got into his roles, but also wasn't afraid to do stupid stuff like Kananga and Live and Let Die.
Sure, right.
Where he's murdered by, he blows up like a balloon and explodes. So,
Okay, all right.
He was married, can't stop talking about Star Trek. He was married to Antoinette Pettijohn.
Okay.
For a while.
Okay.
Who was an actress. She was in the Gamesters of Triskelion.
Okay.
Star Trek Original Series episode.
All right. Very cool.
Yeah.
I think I saw that his wife, when he passed, they've been married a really long time. It seemed like.
Yes.
Like, I don't know, it seemed like 30 years or something like that at least.
Yeah, around that.
But they were in the Bahamas. I don't know if they lived there.
The Philippines.
It was the Philippines. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I don't know why I thought it was Bahamas.
I mean, it's 81.
I know, but it's still sad.
I gotta beat 81.
81.
I bet I can do it.
I bet you could too. But wow, okay, all right.
Well, let me put this crack pipe down.
No,
I'm gonna do it.
Stop.
So anyway, he'll be missed.
Yes.
You think, again, going back to the Tom Cruise. I don't know why I'm picking on Tom Cruise and Ryan Gosling, but Tom Cruise and Ryan Gosling go. We could find somebody else, right?
Yeah.
But this guy, you can't replace this guy.
Yeah, that's true.
That just is gonna stay empty.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about the Oscar nominations?
Yes, let's.
I don't.
Oh.
But we're going to.
Okay.
Let's just
we can do it quick.
Talk about it bit by bit, but we'll just kind of blast through some of the important ones. Let's talk about the Best Picture nominees.
Yeah.
There are movies that, well, I'll just say them and then we'll talk about it.
Okay, sounds good.
The Father, Judas and the Black Messiah, Mank. I almost said Monk. It's like Tony Shalhoub. Good for you.
Wow, right.
Mank, Minari, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. At least 4, maybe 5 of these would not be Best Pictures if there was a full movie slate this year. Don't you think?
Yes.
And I think that's a good thing.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. But I think that, like, Promising Young Woman would not be there at all. Mm-hmm. Sound of Metal might not be there at all.
I don't know if I'm familiar
There's a lot
with
of buzz around Nomadland, but I can see Nomadland getting skunked on this one.
Yeah, but I mean, it won some awards for the Golden Globes, and I know it doesn't always follow, but I guess going off of that, I'm not surprised that it was nominated.
Small film, sort of ponderous, Asian director. I could just see that one going wrong, but this year it went right. Mm-hmm. The big story is that Mank got like 10 nominations, I think, so it's obviously the leader in a lot of categories. Fincher, of course, is up for directing, but also Chloe Zhao is up for Nomadland. Lee Isaac Chung is up for Minari, and Emerald Fennell is up for Promising Young Woman. So that's all good news.
That's awesome. That's really cool. That's really great to hear.
I just like So Best Actress, Carey Mulligan's up for Promising Young Woman. I don't look, great film, but it just doesn't clean up like this or get recognized on a non-pandemic year, right? Or am I wrong?
I haven't seen it, but I wouldn't think so. Just going off of the trailer that I've seen, I wouldn't have.
I mean, like
that.
Vanessa Kirby for Pieces of a Woman, that's designed to walk into a Best Actress.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Frances McDormand is also up for Nomadland. Andra Day is up for The United States versus Billie Holiday.
Okay.
Which I think that's all we're going to hear about that, except for the music category, unfortunately. And Viola Davis is up for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Okay,
sure. All right. I mean, I think there is something to, like, I don't know what else would have been nominated if, we actually had movies in the theater.
Let's say Carey Mulligan doesn't get it.
Probably not.
Although she deserves it. But if film critics are in the Academy, film critics didn't like that movie.
Right.
Or at least thought that she wasn't hot enough or something.
They thought that one guy.
There's a controversy, and why give a platform to a controversy? I'm thinking like them.
Yeah.
Frances McDormand and Viola Davis split it. Vanessa Kirby comes out on top.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I mean, possibly. I mean, the actress who portrayed Billie Holiday, she won a Golden Globe for that. So I don't know.
I think and we'll talk about, let's just talk about it right now. Best Actor in a Leading Role, got Riz Ahmed, Sound of Metal, Chadwick Boseman for Ma Rainey, Anthony Hopkins for The Father, Gary Oldman for Mank, and Stephen Yen for Minari.
Yeah. This is huge.
Boy, if I went to acting school with somebody who was nominated for an Oscar, I would just kill myself.
Thanks for that. I went to college with Stephen Yeun, and
now you can say, like, I've acted opposite the great Steve Yeun.
Yeah, I can say that, but it's like, but I was like in one scene with him. Like he did a lot of he was part of the improv troupe, and he did a lot of improv stuff, and he did some other stuff. I don't think he actually even he wasn't a major, and I don't think he was a minor.
The worst. A walk on.
No, but he's good,
Yeah,
and
good.
it's you don't, I think, and it's not to say that, training, he's had like other training and that sort of thing, and he, moved to Chicago after.
Oh no, he just walked on to The Walking Dead.
Well, no, but
he thought that made sense.
No, but
he right,
because it's The Walking Dead. Okay, I got it.
Then he walked on to Minari.
Yeah, right. But he like did like training with improv groups in Chicago, like Second City and that sort of thing, and then moved out to Hollywood, and I think just weeks later got the role on Walking Dead, which is crazy. So. I'm excited for him. I wish him the best. I think it's insane to think that he is the first.
Yes. Now we're back on track.
Yeah, the first Asian actor to be nominated for Best Actor for the Oscars. That's insane. And Riz.
Hold on.
Yeah. What's going on?
Omar Sharif. Mm-hmm. Are we talking about? We're talking about East Asian, right? Mm-hmm. Not like. Don't the British call the Middle East Asia as well? That's their classification. This is a dumb thing that I don't want to talk about.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
the Academy's in trouble.
Yes,
because they have a crisis of diversity.
Yes,
after being so white for years, now they have to pick whether they give it to an Arab guy, a black guy, or an Asian guy.
Yeah, I know.
Or maybe the solution is just, here you go, Commissioner Gordon. Here's your reward.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Don't
or
do that.
Could anybody get mad? Every single one of those people would be like, it's Anthony Hopkins, man. It's like being up against Glenn Close.
Yeah.
Only better.
Yeah.
Only worse. I'm trying to say Glenn Close is a better actor than Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure that's true, but she is nominated for Best Actress in a Supporting Role.
Okay, sure.
Alongside Olivia Colman, Amanda Seyfried. Really? She's not bad, but that part in Mank wasn't much.
No, it wasn't.
Yoo Jung-yoon for Minari and Maria Bakalova
Okay.
for the Borat movie. That's fun.
For the Borat movie?
Yeah.
Really? I'm surprised that would be...
Who's your winner?
Oh, boy. What was Olivia Colman up for?
The Father.
Oh, The Father. And Glenn Close was...
The Father he has dementia. Maybe.
Okay.
We don't know. Glenn Close is up for a Hillbilly Elegy. Ron Howard movie.
Olivia Colman.
Ron Howard movie.
I don't know. Yeah, I know.
Terrible Ron Howard movie.
Yeah,
Ron
yeah.
Howard movie.
Yeah.
Best Actor in a Supporting Role, Sacha Baron Cohen for The Trial of the Chicago 7, Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah, Leslie Odom Jr. for One Night in Miami, which makes its first appearance, I think, on the list.
Yeah.
Paul Raci for The Sound of Metal, and Lakeith Stanfield for Judas and the Black Messiah. This is when Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield both found out that they were supporting actors in Judas and the Black Messiah.
Yeah, what the heck?
Who's the main character?
Yeah,
the
really?
FBI?
What is going on?
I don't know.
What? That is a very good point.
Yeah.
What the actual heck? No.
I
guess that's got to be wrong, right?
No, I guess they think it's Jesse Plemons, except he wasn't nominated for an acting award. So,
are they saying we don't have a lead? We have two supporting actors, or is that what they're saying?
I'm just saying. Count the lines in the movie. They've got quite a few.
Yeah. I'd be a little ticked if I were them.
Maybe not as many as Mank. Oh boy, that guy won't shut up.
Well, that's true. But I didn't enjoy Mank as much as I would have liked, so I don't know. But that doesn't... Just because I didn't like it doesn't mean that it's not a good movie. I just didn't like it.
That's kind of you.
Yeah.
It's possible that a 35-year-old screenplay maybe needs some touching up.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. What do you think is going to happen race-wise? That's what I want to know. I'm a pot stirrer.
Yeah.
And I want to know, how is this going to fall out? Here's your answer. I'll just answer my own question.
Oh, okay.
They'll spread it around.
Here's my question, and I
They'll
won't
spread
throw
it
it
around.
to you. Yeah.
I think everybody will receive one thing. So the only thing, right? That's how it always works.
Yeah.
They do their best. It's almost like somebody is just picking all these. There's one person. I know they're all voted on, but maybe
Supposedly.
maybe 1,000 people are also doing the same calculus in their head. I don't know. But it almost always is evenly distributed. So we'll find a way to honor every film because it helps the industry as a whole to say that Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is an Oscar-winning film, to say that Even Promising the Young Woman is an Oscar-winning film.
Yes, exactly.
But there are some big prizes that really let you know where things are headed.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So, Best Picture, what do you think? It's so dumb to ask you questions like this because it's just going to add 10 minutes to the show where you just go...
Oh my God.
Stop making those sounds.
Wow. I think Minari is up there. But I'm not sure if they're going to go with that because Parasite won not that long ago. And even though that's stupid.
Now you're asking the right questions.
I think that they might think that. You know what I mean? So, gosh, what are my...
No, come on.
Besides Mank, what are my other options?
The Father, Judas, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, Chicago 7.
Nomadland or Judas and the Black Messiah.
Interesting.
I think. Maybe Judas and the Black Messiah. Just, I'm kind of thinking about the past year we've had.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
Chicago 7.
Oh!
Because I'm thinking about the past year.
But it's not a good movie.
No, it's not. But original screenplay or a screenplay award is often where you award the movie that is, written really well, which is normally what you would call a good movie. But there are other factors to consider for the best picture. And so it's it's, you think it's Aaron Sorkin, so it must be written well. Although I don't think people feel like it's written well.
Mm-hmm. No.
And so therefore there's one movie on this list that makes white people feel good about being liberal. And also he directed it, but he's not going to get the directing award. I mean, he's not up for it.
No.
So I think that all the lines converge on the feel-good political drama / comedy of the year. Trial of the Chicago 7 is the safest bet.
I hate that.
Yeah, I hate it too. I hate it a lot.
I think that's probably the worst choice on the list.
But, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But that's that after many, many decades. Oh, a lot of decades for a human lifetime.
Yeah.
Of watching the Academy just trip over itself like Jennifer Lawrence. That's what I think. Let's talk about Demon Slayer, the biggest now anime movie ever. It's made over $400 million.
That's insane.
In the Japanese box office, and it's set for an April release here.
That's crazy.
Kimetsu no Yaiba. Mugen Train.
Yeah, that's it's exciting, and I hope we get something similar with the Eternal Sailor Moon movies, because I guess it came out in Japan sometime this past fall.
Yeah.
And then it's coming out here in April, so that's quite a big. It's like 5 months difference in release date. So,
well, it's a pandemic.
I know, and I think you can say that for a lot of things, unfortunately. I have never watched Demon Slayers. I think it's on our list for animetification. I've heard good things. I've heard lots of people talking about it. I've seen lots of fan art. So I'm surprised and yet not surprised that this is the highest.
I'm sure they'll just set it up so you can kind of get what's going on.
Yeah.
While a bunch of blood and guts shoots everywhere because it's rated R.
Okay.
For movie times and show times.
Yeah, well, I think we've just got it in our heads in the West that the cartoons are for kids. And, that's not totally true.
So a bloody cartoon is almost
changing.
worse somehow, even though it's not, real simulated guts or sex or whatever. Because they want to make sure that kids don't go. Now, if this was a Hollywood film or a Netflix film, which doesn't have ratings, but whatever, they would work to get it to PG-13, right? Is this some kind of like artistic stand by Japan to go, no, it's okay, you say it's rated R? Fine, it's rated R. Because this will kill you. Because kids do go see cartoons. Kids like anime. And if... nobody really cares if they go to a rated R movie, but that is a bar to entry.
Yeah.
This is going to hurt them, isn't it?
Yeah, I
admire
see
them.
that, but I also think that maybe there is something to them saying, okay, this is what you say it is. Maybe they fought back and pushed back a little bit, and they were like, no, we're not cutting anything. We're not making any changes.
Well, this is a cute little drama you've drawn up here. I don't know if this is true, but
I don't know if it's true.
I'm surprised that it is rated R.
Mm-hmm.
Rated R.
Yes.
Where is Mr. Movie Phone?
That's a good question. When did he stop being Mr. Movie Phone?
I think when they invented smartphones, or even the little you could just call up a browser, the tiny little coin-sized window on your flip phone.
Okay, sure. Right.
Oh, there's the movie. I'm in the unemployment line.
I know.
If you want to know if I've looked for a job, the answer is yes. Let's talk about what's going on TV. A lot of things going on TV. This is going to blow you away. This is really crazy. I'm not vamping at all. I want you to know that Ava DuVernay is working on a Naomi series at the CW. Naomi is a new character that is developed for DC Comics, a character of color.
Okay.
Ava DuVernay is spearheading the series.
Very cool.
Casey Walfall will play the title role.
Do we know anything about the character yet? What their superpowers are or anything?
You got me. And maybe that's entertaining for our audience. But as a co-host, you should
sorry.
I can tell he doesn't know anything about Naomi, so I'm not going to say anything.
Oh.
I don't know anything about Naomi,
Sorry.
but I know that she was debuted a couple of years ago
to,
the typical laud and glory and honor of introducing a bi-POC character.
Okay. I'm assuming live action show because it's CW, right? Okay, cool. This is neat. I'm behind this. I'm kind of like, so.
I think she's got a gun. I don't know anything about her.
God, I hope not. Let's have be like a positive.
Oh my God,
character.
I didn't even. Okay, yeah, positive would be great.
Yeah. So is Ava DuVernay? Is she
as busy as a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest?
How can she do this?
I don't know.
I'm just amazed that she's doing TV. I mean, like, is she going to be? She's like going to be producing it. Is she going to be directing
she's got a deal with Warner Brothers, right? Because she's working on the Eternals movie.
Maybe this is part of it. Then
she's developing a lot of stuff with them.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew McConaughey is going to reprise his character from A Time to Kill in a John Grisham series at HBO.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. Huh. Okay. I gotta be honest. I've never seen A Time to Kill.
I have a story about it that I won't waste our audience's time with, but it basically was one of the first films that I went, oh, movies are bad. Movies can be real bad.
Do you think that this series can do okay, though? Like, do you think, even if people think the movie...
All right. Unless he has to leave to run for governor of Texas, like he's talked about. Let's talk about the three more Game of Thrones spinoffs in the works.
I have completely lost track of how many there are.
Yep.
I couldn't tell you. Isn't the one that was like, oh, this is a prequel or whatever? Didn't that get canceled? There's the one where
previously there were 4 in development. One went to pilot and didn't go.
Right.
Another
with Naomi Watts
is going forward, right?
The one about the Targaryens is going forward.
Yeah, that's going forward. Now I don't know what happened to the other 2. There are 3 new ones in development. 9 Voyages or Sea Snake. So I guess it's got 2. They haven't decided. They're just putting it out there. What do you guys think? Internet vote, #9 Voyages. And that is being developed by Rome co-creator Bruno Heller. Not the good one, but that's okay.
Oh.
And then there are 2 more shows, Flea Bottom and 10,000 Ships. No writers attached.
What the heck is Flea Bottom about?
Flea Bottom is the poorest district of King's Landing. Where
what? I didn't remember that. Okay.
That's where Robert's Bastard is from. I've dumped all this information.
Whoa. Okay. All right.
Anyway, so let me give you the breakdown because again, who cares? Nobody likes Game of Thrones anymore. But 9 Voyages will focus on the Sea Snake, Lord Corlys Velaryon, and who? That's a girl. I don't know. I don't want. There's no artifice here. I don't know any of this stuff.
I know, it's
so
okay.
I'm just reading this.
Yeah.
But is the head of House Velaryon husband to Rhaenys? Oh, Rhaenys Targaryen's husband. Okay, yeah. So that's, and then his vessel, the Sea Snake. Now there's another ship one, right?
Yes.
No, that's 9 Voyages. Then there's 10,000 Ships.
Uh-huh.
And that one will revolve around Princess Nymeria, who lived a long time ago, but is like a hero of Arya's, and she named her, Wolf Nymeria. And she was like a, wild princess who couldn't be tamed. I think she's the one that sailed west. She sailed west of Westeros.
Oh, okay. All right. That seems vaguely familiar.
I guess I do know a little bit about this stuff. And then Flea Bottom, we don't know. I'm imagining maybe The Wire in King's Landing.
Oh my God.
When you walk through the garden, ding dong, ding dong.
It could be
you better
interesting.
watch your back.
If it was actually...
It's a Dorian mode, that's why it sounds like that. Sorry, go ahead.
It could be interesting if it was actually what you're suggesting, and it wasn't like...
Well, Matt Smith's in House of the Dragon, so that's going to be good.
Oh, Matt Smith.
What happened,
man?
What happened?
I don't know. I like him. I just don't always think that he picks the right things, or knows how to... this one's a winner. I'm going with this project. I don't know that he's got a good sense for that.
I don't know myself. There's a True Lies CBS pilot.
Okay.
They've been working on.
This seems
an adaptation
familiar.
of James Cameron's film.
Yes.
It has been pushed to off cycle.
What?
That means it's not.
What does that even mean these days?
It's not going to be prime time. It was ordered.
Yeah.
But now they are pushing it to, in a holding pattern. But it's still shooting, still being developed.
Well,
Gonna
that
theoretically
stinks.
go, but...
Why would you do that right now when so many other things... Did they see it and they're like, oh, it's not very good, but instead of canceling it, they just put it to the side?
Well, it's, I think that it's got a lot going for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's written by Matt Nix, the Burn Notice guy.
Okay.
Which, has anyone seen Burn Notice? No, but...
You have.
All right. Thanks for outing me as a Burn Notice fan. Now my joke doesn't work.
Oh,
He's consistent, TV doesn't have to be that good. It just has to keep coming in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's directed by McG, which and also I think produced by him. So I mean, I think it's got legs. The thing is, I don't think it has any. CBS does this all the time. You make a Lethal Weapon show. Is any good? Sure, people like Lethal Weapon movies. Are they going to watch a Lethal Weapon show? I don't know. CBS is banking that they will.
Yeah.
So is somebody going to watch a non-Arnold starring True Lies series? Right. I think we talked about this before. Like, if it's good, I would check it out.
Yeah, right.
But we don't know. Remember, Newsom eliminated like so many restrictions for Hollywood because that's tax money, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if you can eat at Del Taco or not. We need to make these shows so there's something on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that they probably pulled back. This is just a wild, crazy theory. They pulled back production because they had to. But then as soon as they got the go, they put a bunch of stuff into production again. So they're probably facing... Maybe they've got to surf it. Maybe they've got too many shows.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, okay, well, we don't need this True Lies thing right now. We can always hold on to that for later. I don't know.
Huh. It's just interesting that a show that's in production right now in a time of COVID would be put into a holding pattern. It just kind of blows my mind that would actually happen. But
things get shot and they sit on the shelf for forever.
Yeah, I know. I just didn't think that would be happening now because I feel like there's maybe less things shooting right now, but maybe that's not true.
Yeah, well, you know what's in development and will be shooting soon?
What's that?
A 4400 reboot.
What is that?
You remember the 4400?
Why don't you remind me what the 4400 is?
God. Okay. There was a Star Trek guy. Oh, Rene Echeverria. That's right. It's about there's 4,400 people vanish.
Sure.
I don't know if it's all at once or over a certain amount of time. It's like it's kind of like remember the beginning of Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
God, it's been so long since I've seen that. Not really. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's specifically like some pilots are abducted from Egypt or something like that. Anyway, people are abducted.
Okay.
And then the movie's so long, and then all this stuff happens, but at the end, they walk out of the spaceship.
I do remember the end.
Because the idea was the aliens are like, all right, we took these guys here, have them back, and we'll take the guy from Jaws and some other people.
Yeah, right.
And so imagine that. But like, imagine they're all gone and then they all return at once. So like 4,400 people show up on the shores of a Scottish loch or something like that. And the governments are like, whoa. So they put them all in like a camp so they can study them. But like weird things start happening. And it's one of those like premises. It's like, okay, yeah, you could, that's a sure promise of drama.
Okay.
But it didn't ever really catch fire.
Okay.
And so the CW is going to give it another shot.
Well, it kind of reminds me of the French show The Returned, or
yeah, sure,
where they all like disappear, and then they come back and they're just not quite the same, and something weird is going on. They don't put them in a restricted
disappeared
area.
Into the ground.
Well,
they died.
They died.
Dead people come back.
Yeah, right. Dead people come back, so it's a little different, but. There's no aliens.
Fun fact, the original show starred a young Mahershala Ali.
Really?
Yes. Well, everybody's got to come from somewhere.
Huh. I didn't know that. Interesting. Okay.
Couple more stories here before we wrap up. DC Films, Warner Brothers, is working on an Our Man film. Our Man.
Who is Our Man?
Listen up.
Our Man.
It's Our Man.
What? I don't understand. You keep saying it, and I don't understand.
Well, we have to keep
There's
saying it.
There's a lot of that going around.
Unless we explain it somehow.
Our Man. He
Man
lasts an hour, and then he disappears?
Yeah, actually, that's pretty much what it is.
Okay,
Our Man is
that
a
must
hero
have been vaguely in my brain
created
somewhere.
in 1940. No, you just guessed. Created don't pretend. Created in 1940, and his thing is he has a potion. He takes a potion, and he gets powers, strength, agility,
Sure.
maybe some other stuff. And then it only lasts an hour.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like bad guys, can we wrap this up? I got a place to be. And so, I mean, like, sure, that's fascinating to a GI or a 6-year-old.
Sure.
Not that they're the same.
No, not at all.
In 1940, but no legs, right?
Yeah.
So the character continues to show up in like big crossovers or like JSA meetups or Grant Morrison stories.
That tracks.
And I think he has recently been on the Stargirl show because the Stargirl show features a lot of JSA characters.
Okay. All right.
So somebody thought, let's get the writer of San Andreas 2 and Now You See Me 3. What? Now you 3 me, cowards. That's how this works. And they're going to write this show.
For Our Man.
Yep. Or it's not a show. Sorry. It's a movie.
Oh.
Unbelievably. A movie.
Okay. Maybe that's better because it's like if it's a show, how many different scenarios can you put Our Man into?
I would think 1 million. I think a show is perfect. I feel like the
show's better.
I feel like there's half a dozen genre shows from the 70s and 80s where a guy can only do something for a short time, like every episode of The Incredible Hulk.
Sure. My concern with this character is like, how does he plan it? Or try to work it out, like you said, like, bad guys, can we wrap this up? Like, how does he, does he just, go in there and he has to know what he's doing before he, commits to it or something?
Plus, the hour is worthless. They just did this with, and maybe they should sue them, with Project Power, right? The whole thing about Project Power is...
That's true.
It's
a limited amount of
time.
time.
And for 5 minutes, you've got superpowers.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
But you're stuck unless you call him 5 Minute Man, which, ladies... Look out.
Yeah. Right.
He's Our Man. Like, it has to be an hour. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. You can't... Isn't Luke Cage's Power Man?
But the villain, who will be an industrialist, will introduce him, ironically, as the Man of the Hour.
Oh, gosh. You're so right.
That's a freebie.
It.
They can have that one.
Yeah.
You know who needs a freebie?
Who?
Armie Hammer, who is now being investigated by the LAPD. After a woman came forward with a violent rape allegation.
Wow. It just keeps coming. I probably should not have said that. This is bad.
Luckily, he's never been in a good movie. And don't come at me. Do not come at me, social media network freaks. I don't care.
Oh, I was thinking about Call Me by Your Name.
We just have to forget that now, don't we?
Yes.
It's too bad.
It is too bad. I'm sorry, Timothy Chalamet.
Although, weren't we all really excited about that?
We were.
Isn't nobody talking about that?
Well, they were talking about it, right? They were talking about doing a sequel or something.
Yeah, that's okay. So we've already talked about this on the show, haven't we? But I guess you just don't know what people are up to. But you have a film starring Timothy Chalamet, who I guess is just a dumb kid, right? And Luca Guadagnino, and the author of the book, whose name I can't remember. And it's about feelings. It's about, I almost feel like it's a personal story.
Yes.
I almost feel like they would have prayed before they started shooting every day, but they're not religious, right?
No, right.
It's spiritual almost.
Yes, it is.
How
absolutely.
can you make that when Armie is on his BlackBerry all the time sending dick pics? You have to know what's going on, don't you? Do you just go,
I don't know.
This is who the studio sent us? I don't know. Right? How do you not know?
I think sometimes you just don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I mean,
I think you're right.
I hate to say it. Maybe sometimes you look back and you're like, oh, that was a weird thing that happened.
That's what, I wondered the sounds coming from his trailer.
Okay, not that.
He said he was rehearsing a scene.
Okay.
I know, terrible. Let's talk about something awesome. We've got our first gay Captain America.
Yes.
That's a dumb way to introduce this story, but it is.
But that's how it's being
it is
introduced.
good news.
Yes.
Long story short, there is a storyline going on or coming up in Marvel Comics where Captain America is, we're going around America for some reason.
Yep.
It sounds kind of like when Superman walked around America, which wasn't great, and we're running into a bunch of different people who have all, they got the shield somehow or something, or they've taken up the mantle to defend people in need. And one of them is Aaron Fisher, a gay teenager, described as Captain America of the Railways, which I wouldn't get married to that, but and he's train themed, I guess, for some reason. So he's got like Casey Jones like overalls,
yes,
and a little hat, and
yeah. I think this is a positive thing, although some people were talking about it online. I think they were not necessarily crazy about his design. I think the overalls, they were confused by that, but I think you're right. I think it's a train thing, and so they're going off the train thing, and so they're like, oh, overalls, I think people hopefully will get excited about this, and will get behind this. I think the artist who designed the character too is LGBTQ, which is also awesome to see. And we need more stuff like that. So, I'm excited about it, and hopefully the story will be good.
Yeah, I hope so. I do think that, I don't know, what do you do if you're going to use a 70-year-old character?
I know.
And they've done this, and they did this with Alan Scott, they did this with Bobby Drake, but you can have them come out.
Sure.
And then, I don't know. I don't think it has to be a problem because you want comics to be real, Zack Snyder. This is real. People live their entire lives.
Well, that's true.
Living it one way.
Yeah.
And then they come out, they realize something about themselves, or they, are brave enough to come out and say something about themselves. And then they live their life a different way.
Right.
So you can have Alan Scott have girlfriends for 50 years, then, become gay, come out.
Yeah.
And then you can you don't have to throw away the past of the character. You can just recontextualize all that stuff.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. That totally does happen.
But it scares people because it means anybody can be just some writer comes in and says, oh, Bucky's gay.
Jesus. Yeah, it's like they included a panel.
No, not Bucky.
With a mirror, and it's your reflection, and you are gay, reader.
Oh my God.
Because this comic said so.
You pulled the Time Person of the Year trick.
It's so I think our personalities, our who we are, our identities, they're fluid, right? And they're always changing and growing. And
do you want to say something?
No. I'm just saying, why do we have to put everybody in a little box and they just stay there the rest of their lives? Even if they change,
a boxcar.
A boxcar, sure.
I don't know what the train thing is about. That's just weird.
I don't know what that is either. I think it's supposed to
just pick like a famous character and just make them gay. I almost like that better than let's make this single serving character that it's exciting, but we don't expect this character to stick around forever,
and
right?
have staying power.
Who
and
knows?
Have their own
maybe
book.
they could. I mean, Falcon was a single serving character until he became. Yeah, Cat met him on an island or something like that. It's really weird.
That's random.
Don't worry about it. So anyway, get ready to hear this on Newsmax for the next 6 months. One is a falcon. One is a soldier. He's cold.
Always freezing.
From the coldest war.
Yes.
And together, someday, they will something. It's the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
The new 6-episode series on Disney+.
Yes. For a series that's only 6 episodes, this entire episode is just setting stuff up.
People look in their pants. What? And they are chock full of poop. People pooped their pants over this.
Okay.
Almost universally.
Okay.
And I'm like, what were they watching? It wasn't what I was watching. I was not blown away by this, to the point where it's ironic that, when I like something, I usually write a lot of notes, or no, it's a reverse bell curve. It's a bump curve.
Okay.
Hated it, a lot of notes. Loved it, a lot of notes. Not a lot of notes on this one.
Yeah, there's not a lot to comment
Although one
on.
says lame. I'm not sure if I meant a specific moment or the entire show. But
what did this note mean?
I wrote lame.
Okay. Well, I mean, I agree with a lot of your sentiment. Like, I'm just kind of underwhelmed. Like, why was this an entire episode? And like, you only have 6 episodes to tell the story. So if you needed 6 episodes, then you plot it out, right? Marvel is so good at plotting stuff out. Well, this just doesn't make sense to me.
I think it's very possible that this will be the only setup episode, and we will just leap into the fray for the next 5 shows.
I agree, but like they have 0 scenes together this episode.
Yeah.
And like
this will probably be the last episode where they have no scenes together.
I know. I just was like kind of like bummed that they had no scenes together.
I think the structure is weird because this is essentially just a long movie that would somehow be shorter than Justice League still, right? Because if it's just 40 minutes times 3. And so, I thought that the structure, I guess this is just the first act. I mean, I thought the structure would be a little different, but what got me was, and I saw people praising this, I actually think it's kind of a detraction, is that I don't like how they're mirroring the Winter Soldier, the film.
Oh,
it begins and Sam is settled into his role, although he's not satisfied with it. He's literally rescuing a hostage from a form of transportation that's got Batroc the Leaper on it.
That's true.
And they're clearly making, a connection to the film, The Winter Soldier. And it's like, I don't need that. I don't need that. I already understand that Falcon is very capable. I mean, great action sequence.
The action sequence was really cool.
But I get that he's capable. You've already told me that he doesn't feel like he can be Captain America. And I understand that. But I just don't know why they're kind of setting up this stuff. And then he is kind of heroing, or at least, solving military problems, but he's not, though, too. Why not just... you got to open with a bang. But why not just pick up with he's just shrimping, like he's just given up and gone back to New Orleans.
Yeah.
I both like and dislike his situation at home, because I think it's important to show Black characters and their families and to have those characters.
Absolutely.
But and also I like the fact that they've got this new origin for him where he's not a pimp or whatever. Like he's
that's probably a good change.
Blame oh man, Jam DeMatteis, I think. But anyway,
wow. Good change.
So they put him in. I mean, they just had. Do they talk to the Captain Marvel writers? They just had.
I don't know.
Monica Rambeau from New Orleans, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And so he's in New Orleans. Anthony Mackie's from New Orleans. I think it kind of fits. And you've got a real struggle, a real problem of, you were gone. I'm a single mother with 2 kids in a shrimp and boat business, and it's been the 5 years have been tough.
Yeah.
That's a great setup, but at the same time, that's a real Lifetime drama setup. It's very conventional in a lot of ways too.
Yeah, it is, and I think it's interesting that this comes up with this idea that the Avengers are not really paid for being Avengers.
Yeah, but that is the conflict. If he had a ton of money, there'd be no problem.
Right.
But I just think that I get that you want to tell stories that we can relate to and aren't detached from all reality.
Yeah, right.
But they have all those bits about did you go to the moon? In Marvel Comics, Nick Fury lived on the moon for 90 years and killed threats that the Avengers couldn't handle. And it's that's just crazy bug nuts fun stuff. Why can't these shows be this stuff? We just got off a 9-episode series that was about mundanity. It was about suburb life and about
right. But that was the whole conceit.
Sequence of houses with a different decor.
Yeah.
And now it's just we got a boat business and we want a loan. It's come on, ride a comet or something, fight, galactic threats, or I guess that's not what the Falcon and the Winter Soldier do, but let's talk about the themes.
Yeah, let's.
Because I like the themes, or I think they're important, but I don't know how this show can handle it. I've heard this compared to like an unabashed 80s action movie throwback. Like it's just, a hero just killing dudes and being military or paramilitary. We got to get out of Libya or whatever. We can't cross the border. Launch the missiles. Patriotic, but like reflective about it.
Yes.
Like Rambo's a patriot, but he's also mad at the higher ups for leaving the men behind.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Right.
How far can we take that? And when the bad guys, here's what the bad guys want. They want to eliminate all borders. I'm like, I think I'm with the bad guys on this. Like they're going to do it in a bad way though. And
right.
My initial reaction was, oh, show, you're so lost. Because they're a bunch of flash mobbing young anarchists that are going to ruin the world by making trade free across all nations. But then I realized they're not real bad guys, because the main bad guy is that girl from Solo who played the badass bounty hunter that turned out to be just fighting. She was a freedom fighter because Paul Bettany's crime lord character was like assaulting her planet. They were taking Tabana gas from it or whatever.
Yes,
so she was actually a freedom fighter. So I think that she will it'll turn out that she's not like a diabolical, criminal. She's being used, and maybe the flag smashers aren't, that bad.
Okay.
But I don't like the fact that they're like kind of Antifa but they're cast as the bad guys. And
that's not great.
You've got the whole thing that you had with Captain Marvel where it's like the military is good. Oh boy, don't you love the Air Force? The Air Force is great. It's like, oh, no, actually. Even Captain America managed to skirt that line by being like, well, I was, essentially in the army and I defend America from Nazis, but we're not talking about Nazis now. You're talking about having a buzzword, having a security state, where you can shoot anybody from a flying platform.
Right.
And I'm not down with that.
Yeah.
But I feel like Sam would be like, where's the flying platform?
Hey,
he's got a different view on stuff.
I mean, maybe since Cap has died, or has he? That's another thing. Like, we don't know what's happened to Cap. He might be alive somewhere.
Cameo?
That would be cool. Like, people were positing,
No, I don't think I will.
Like, is he on the moon with Samuel L. Jackson? I don't know.
If they don't end on the moon, I'll be mad.
I would be mad too. When they first said, my issue with the they don't want any borders is like they didn't really explain what they meant by that.
No.
They didn't go into detail, because when I first heard that, I was like, how is that a bad thing?
Well,
and then like
it's possible that as the people who are just hold the guns or are the bullet that are fired against the enemies of America and freedom, it's not theirs to reason why. It isn't Sam's. He's not supposed to think about that kind of stuff. And over the course of 5 episodes, when he teams up with a former assassin who's questioning his place in the world,
weapon,
maybe they will be like, ooh, are we on the right side on this one?
Yeah.
Especially when the new face of America's fight against terrorism is Snake Plissken's kid.
Oh, yeah, I know, right?
What do you think about John
Wyatt
Walker,
Russell?
the U.S. agent?
It's hard to say, because we literally see his face at the end of the show, and that's it.
Do you think that he is? I think I love Wyatt Russell.
I do too. I think he's a great actor.
But I think that he can go both ways, and I think he's a good casting choice for that. And let me quickly finish what I'm talking about. I think that he could be. Do you think that the new Captain America will be competent, or he'll be a joke? Do you know what I mean?
God, that's a really good question, because I could really see it going either way.
Yeah, I know.
And
Wyatt Russell could play either of those.
Yeah.
Because he could be Lodge 49 Wyatt Russell, or he could be Overlord Wyatt Russell.
Yes.
So do you think that the new Captain America will be... What are they going to try to say with him? Will he be like a jingoistic, madman murderer? Or will he be like, I can do it, I'm Captain America. Boy, oh boy, I'm not good at this. Somebody take this shield from me. Because I think you think like, oh great, we've got options, but I think both of those, I'm just seeing the bad ways that they could go.
Whereas both of those are not great.
Because we've already done that. Remember with Nuke
Mm-hmm.
in the Netflix Jessica Jones show, he was like a soldier.
Yeah, that's true.
But he was like, just, he was Nuke. I mean, he was like brutal and terrible, and he was like, I'm gonna kill commies or whatever. But then you could also go like, dupe, I'm not a good Captain America.
But why would the government want that? Just to have like
why
a
would the
symbol?
government tell Sam Wilson, thank you, you've made the right choice?
That's what I don't understand.
Black guy.
Yeah, that's what I take
Good
from
job
that.
giving up the shield. And I think that that's great. I think that that's, we've talked about this with WandaVision. Did they really? It's true. The show does map onto like the Kubler-Ross stages of grief really well, but did they really mean to do that, or did it just turn out that way? I don't want to give them all the props in the world.
But...
Oh, really? Did they mean to have Monica Rambeau just disappear and then not really be part of the show?
No, I'm not. Look, I'm not saying
there's
it's
proof
not
that they
all
are
great.
not perfect craftsmen.
I know,
but it setting up the thing where, okay, it's a little on the nose. It's a little obvious that like Sam Wilson, Avenger, who's like defeated Thanos, can't get a bank loan.
Yeah, I know.
The Human Torch was also denied a bank loan, by the way. And no, it's from
What?
Anchorman. The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
Oh, what? I don't remember that. Okay, all right. The prompter.
Skeleton ran out of shampoo in the shower.
Okay, all right.
But then also like the very, I wonder if they'll go there. I mean, they are kind of going there.
They are kind of going there.
But if they don't say they were going there, then they could just pretend like they weren't going there. So here's what you got.
What you're saying.
Didn't know they were doing it. Full on Black Power. Or, what do you think? What do you think?
I know. Well, and
What's it going to be?
We've seen clips like he gets the shield at the end. So
At some point he's going to get that shield.
Like Wyatt Russell's character is incompetent in some way. Either he's like, oh, I tripped over my shield, or he's, like hurting people and doing evil things. And gosh, it's just,
Here it is.
What?
Falcon and Bucky are going to do it on their own, but their paths intersect with John Walker eventually. And by this time, they've already met up, skirmished with the girl who leads the Flag Smashers or whatever. And they come to an understanding. They're like, oh, we understand. You guys were told like this or that. You are anarchists, but you're not like harmful, but you're being manipulated by, say, Baron Zemo.
Sure.
And at that point, John Walker shows up, pow, pow, kills the girl. And then they're
I
like,
can see that.
and they're like, what did you do? We were talking to her, and no, she's an enemy. And then they have to fight him.
Okay, I could see that. That actually makes sense to me.
I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Do you think he's got a wonky super soldier serum? Because I mean, that's
maybe
Falcon is like very well trained, but he isn't super strong.
No.
But like the wings kind of make up for it. He's
right,
and he's got a bird.
Yes.
If John Walker is just like just an Adam's apple with an indestructible
then
shield,
he's just going to be a goof, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe he's got because didn't Nuke? I don't keep going back to Nuke, but didn't the Nuke have like he was augmented, or was he just a big?
I feel
guy?
like he was.
He threw Jessica through a wall.
I feel like he was augmented.
Yeah, he's taking the drugs.
I mean,
give me a red, sir.
Going off of the very. It's still hard to say. We just see him smile in the helmet, right? And it's kind of a goofy, goobery smile.
But he gives a little wink, doesn't he?
Yeah. So it's like, is he being goofy and goobery to throw us off? Or is that how he actually is? You know? I don't know. So Bucky is also going to see a therapist.
Oh, we haven't talked about Bucky at all.
Yeah, no, and like he's supposed to be doing these steps and reconciling him being
Do you get
the
a
Winter
pass
Soldier.
because you have a character who was born in 1918 or something like that?
Yeah.
So for him to be completely in denial of the efficacy and importance of psychological care, do you get a pass? Because the way they treat the psychologist character and his attitude about therapy,
I didn't like
is
it.
so it's like an 80s movie. It's like an 80s action movie. Riggs, you got to go see the psychologist. Oh, I'm going to act so crazy the psychologist won't even know what to do with me.
Yeah, I know.
That's just, you just don't do that now.
Well,
but
yeah.
this character hasn't seen Lethal Weapon, so he's trying to play games with the psychologist, and he doesn't believe in therapy at all. Maybe you can get away with it because he is a throwback.
I guess one thing that I didn't like, and maybe this is like, who knows how long they've been doing this, and this is the only thing that seems to work with him, but they made the psychologist character kind of antagonistic.
Just hostile, yeah. And
I just don't think that a therapist would be like that with somebody. I mean, they'll try different things, but it was like, oh, you're getting out the notepad. Oh, you're writing
we're
stuff.
bantering.
Yeah, and it's
God
like,
damn you, Joss Whedon.
It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. Show me on the doll where well, maybe not that.
No, not that.
Any last thoughts?
What did you think about him making it up to the Japanese guy that he killed his son? Like,
Again,
what is he gonna do?
I just think that's kind of like sort of a lame out of a book setup, right? It's like the assassin made friends with the person who's related to the guy he killed.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, he seems like he's old pals with this guy.
Yeah, I just thought it was more interesting if he was just somebody that he knew like 70 years before who's just still around.
I know.
I mean, they've already kind of made I can't afford to play some Brooklyn jokes. Maybe they'll do more with that, but it's just sort of a weird, I think, kind of conventional setup. Obviously, look, this could just have been I love Sam Wilson, but this could have been the Winter Soldier show. You know, it's just he's going through his life. We're doing period piece flashbacks where he's remembering things that he was like involved in and did, and he's making amends. But it's real conventional. And then it's like, oh, I get you a date. And it's like, oh, okay, he's going to date. And it's like,
but like I don't know, maybe this is just me thinking it's weird. She works at a restaurant and their date, the restaurant seems closed.
We don't want to pay for another location.
But we're going to just hang out at the bar where I work.
I am restaurant lady.
What? Yeah, what? So I was kind of like, that seems kind of weird, but whatever.
And it's one of those, like, they got board games. It's one of those dumb bars. It's like, oh, we're quirky.
But it was like a Japanese restaurant, but she has board games. I don't know, whatever. I'm sure it happens. But yeah, I think I like these characters a lot. And I want this to be good. So I am cautiously optimistic that it'll get there. I just was not.
I am cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I'm just not thrilled with this initial episode. So
the final review is not thrilled. We'll return for a review of the finale of Falcon and the Winter Soldier sometime in the future.
Sunshine came softly through my...
I think we have to do less time on Justice League than we did on one episode of a Marvel show, right? Just to to make it work.
Okay, let's do it.
It's Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut. TM R circled copyright.
Yes, all the things. The Snyder Cut has been released. It is out in the world, wreaking havoc.
Catch it.
Yeah.
Put it back in.
Yeah. I don't want it.
It's 4 hours long. They weren't lying. And you thought somebody, here's what happened. Somebody got the wrong information, right? They asked him, how long is it? He said, it's about 4 hours. They thought, great.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I'll deliver it in parts. They thought, oh, hour apart, 4 parts.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent that out on a press release, right? But then almost immediately somebody said, no, that's not what it is. It's a movie. It won't be airing in 4. I think, right? Because how could you get that so wrong?
I know.
Because all the entertainment sites ran with that.
Yes.
But that is not what, it's like 8. It doesn't make any sense. It's 7, 8 parts. I don't know.
I lost track.
The parts are just, well, we're done with that. Let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to talk about this.
I know.
Except by just maybe going through, if you've got any notes, or just go point by point, I guess. I mean, we can talk about the overall thing. I'll give you an overall thing. I don't think it's that different.
I don't either.
People are saying, oh, man, so much better. So much better than the Whedon cut. But, but also still not a good movie. And I
Right.
don't know if it's better. There are changes that make no sense, and they are so indicative of his not skill as a filmmaker, although I've had an ass full of slow motion at this point, and also bummer slow song covers over footage of stuff happening.
Every single song
It's
was
just
a
like
bummer cover.
his only move is just to do that. So I don't know. I guess he's a skilled filmmaker, but he does not understand his material, and I will give you concrete examples as to why.
Mm-hmm.
Why dumb? Small dumb thing. We'll start small, get huge. Why does Amber Heard have a British accent now? Who cares?
Yeah,
Also,
right.
I missed this, but I think in the dialogue they established that she's also part of the royal family, so she's half sister of Arthur. And it's like,
really? I missed that.
Not only does that ruin a movie that you're just pretending doesn't exist to make your do-over cut, but it leaves you nowhere to go with those characters. Don't they have tension? Even in your scenes, they have tension, right?
Is that what they were saying? Or were they saying that Arthur's mom, like, saved her and raised her as a child? Not that she's, like, the biological sibling.
Then they're stepbrother. Oh, I'm stuck in this shell. It's terrible.
But they don't grow up with each other.
But you know why she's got a very bad British accent? Because she's royalty. That's how you know.
You're kidding.
That's how he thinks.
Oh my gosh.
At the end of the film, he puts on the black suit.
Yeah.
Right?
Superman, yeah.
Right. And that was something that the black suit is one of the things that was like sparked interest in the Snyder cut, because they released footage of him in the black suit. People were like, "Oh, is there a Snyder cut?" And then millions of fans, hundreds of fans, loudly asked for the Snyder cut. In the comics, he does wear a black suit when he comes back. There's no cape, by the way. And so, you think, okay, we're going to do that. That's an homage to the comics. But then at the end of the film, when he's still Supermaning, he's wearing the black suit.
Yeah.
And you know that Snyder gave him the black suit because it's cool.
Yeah, right.
Because he's badass. He's a badass Superman now. Even though the whole reason is that, like, he, goes through all this stuff. He goes through the trauma of death and rebirth and realizes that, his wife or his wife-to-be and his mom and everything's there, and he's got to go help. And he's lighter. He's not as light as he was in... Actually, remember the one thing everybody loved about the Snyder Cut was that, like, Superman was, like, fun and nice at the end and not a weirdo.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, he wears the black suit, and you know that Snyder just likes it because it looks cool. But doesn't that say something? Why he picks to wear a black suit. In the comics, it's a regeneration suit. It doesn't matter. They also wanted to make him look cool in the comics because it was the 90s. But he's a 90s comic writer, and we're in like 2021.
Mm-hmm. So why in the movie does he pick it?
Because it's cool. And Superman's going to wear a black suit now.
Yeah.
Because that's his aesthetic. It's just posting Cringe on Main 24/7.
Yeah, that's what he does.
I mean, I found out recently that his daughter's favorite song was Hallelujah, so I guess that explains things. But also, why'd you put it in your explicit sex scene in Watchmen when your daughter was in her early teens? Here you go, check it out. It's your favorite song. Oh my God, weird. Dad, please, no.
Oh my God.
It's a little strange.
I had a range of emotions when you said that. Like, I immediately felt bad for making fun of him for loving it so much, and then also was like, oh yeah, that is kind of weird that you put it in a sex scene when it's your daughter's favorite song when she's a young kid. It's weird.
Well, I don't know. They probably listen to Leonard Cohen records or something like that. Like, I get it's a good song, but I'm just saying, once I knew that, like all things with Zack Snyder, it both explained a lot and then also made me feel bad. I just don't.
Yes. I know. What did you think about the Wonder Woman introduction in this, like the thing with like the bank? Yes, I didn't push the Q button in time.
What did you think about the adding of the digital blood that confirms to us that Wonder Woman was not just like disabling people; she was crushing their bodies as she threw them against walls and stuff.
I hated it.
And then a bunch of guys come in and they bring a bomb into a bank to blow it up. So Wonder Woman blows up the bank to stop them from blowing up the bank.
Yep. I liked it better in the Whedon cut, I guess I'll call it, where she throws it up into the air or
where
something.
It explodes and probably breaks windows all over Soho, but whatever.
Right. We don't see what happens, so that's not great either. But I think I liked that whole sequence more in the Whedon cut. I just think it made more sense. It told a more streamlined story. Wonder Woman comes in. It's a great action scene. She's kicking butt. We're not focusing so much on the children who are there for a field trip and the little girl who asks her afterwards if she can be like her when she grows up. And Wonder Woman has this answer of like, you can
marry
whatever
anybody
you
you want.
And yeah, jeez.
You can cook whatever you want.
Yeah.
In the kitchen.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't know how somebody can be reportedly such a nice guy and just have such bad ideas about everything. I didn't catch this, but apparently, like, you know, I always play up his love of Ayn Rand and his connection to objectivism, but like the boat that Aquaman saves the guy from is named after a character in the Fountainhead or something.
I
like
wouldn't
that.
have
It's like
known
you're
that.
still stop it. I mean, look, I'll tell you, he couldn't make a movie for Marvel. Marvel heroes are not about being heroes, gods among men who walk on their own. Like he could only, I understand why he's attracted to DC superheroes.
Sure,
They've
right.
always been more godlike, more iconic, but even Superman would do anything to save, maybe not a cat, the little girl who owns the cat.
Yeah.
He would
right.
lay down his life to save her.
Yeah.
And in 2 of his Superman movies, Superman's like, all the people around him are like, don't save people. Do.
I know.
Whatever. You can do whatever you want. It's like, that's just not, that's not Superman.
That's not Superman, and it's not a great message to send to the people watching it either. Like,
No, his favorite
what the
scene
heck?
in Superman 2, regular or Donner cut, is probably when Superman beats the guy up in the bar or the diner.
Which is so... It's very
Which
unlike
doesn't make any sense in the
Superman.
Donner cut because he reverses time in the Donner cut.
Right.
And then he goes and beats that guy up. And the guy must be like, what the hell was that all about? Because he erased the days when
Everybody's
he beat him up.
memory. Yeah. Like, was he somehow able to preserve everybody's memory in that diner and was like, they remembered, oh, this guy beat him up.
I don't blame him, but doesn't Zack Snyder really like Batman the most?
Seems like
Didn't
it.
he wish that he could make the Batman movies?
Yes.
A lot of Batman in his 2 Superman movies, one of which is half a Batman movie.
Yes.
And then, of course, you know, I get that like the whole nightmare scenario is predicated on Superman going bad, but he certainly doesn't do much to let us into what's going on with Superman. There is that extra little thing that he inserts in the cyborg vision or whatever, where we see, I guess Lois has died, and that's how Superman falls under
Right.
the thrall of Darkseid. But the nightmare sequence is all about Batman.
Yes.
And there's a long, boring, pointless conversation between Batman and the Joker, which is just an opportunity for Batman to tell the Joker that he's going to effing kill him. Because that's so, oh, God, I'm so hard as a rock. It's so cool.
I know. But would he really kill the Joker?
Well, this is another world. It's another universe.
I know.
This
and
is
it's like...
Injustice. Why didn't they just let him make an Injustice movie? Why has it got to ruin the actual characters?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Isn't Batman just famous for his composure?
Yes.
Why would he feel the need to let the Joker
To threaten the Joker.
get him? Yeah, right. Why? This is, look, I have a theory. You hate it. I won't expound the entire theory here. But the whole point of Batman is that he doesn't have to do all those things. He's just scary.
Right.
He's scary because he, you know, I mean, he'll give you a compound fracture, but also
Yes.
he's just stolid. He's ready for anything. You can't defeat him. And he's not going to just go off half-cocked.
Right.
And you need to have, I get it's an alternate universe, but like you have to have something that you can recognize in the character. And like,
yes.
his Batman is just so, for, you know, it's my theory that he loves Batman more than Superman, but like his Batman is just so, Ben Affleck is just like nothing. He's just so blank.
He's not giving us anything.
He has no good jokes. He's got, I mean, whether Whedon's writing him or not, so a lot of the humor is just lame. They still tried to put humor in.
I was kind of surprised at that.
Unlike the Joss Whedon stuff, which is like smize.
Yeah.
His humor just fell flat.
I know.
But anyway, yeah, that's just like enough about Batman. I don't know. He just would rather make. Why didn't he just make that Nightmare movie? Go in and go.
I don't know.
Walter Hamada, I got an idea. Just let me make a Nightmare movie. We'll explain. We'll have a thing at the beginning where the Watcher or DC's Watcher or something comes in and goes, "Oh boy, this is crazy." Or
yeah,
we could have some singing girls smell a sweater. We could do that.
That was really weird.
That went on for so long.
Well, just like a lot of things in this movie, like Joker's monologue to Batman in the nightmare sequence, I was like, I am already done. This movie was supposed to be over, and yet I have to listen to this entire thing.
I have to believe that well, no, but that's not even the end.
No.
Because then Martian Manhunter shows up.
Oh, that's true.
And he's like, "Hi, I'm an alien that's as powerful as Superman, a guy that you went to great lengths to try to kill in the last movie. I'm here to help if you need it." And Batman's like, "Yeah, okay, man, I don't know, whatever, sure."
He just woke up from a nap or something, or from sleep. You know, it's like the weirdest
Look, if you
thing.
catch Batman before he gets his bat coffee, it's worthless.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then the only other scene we get with a Martian Manhunter is when I'm not happy about this. We find out after the fact that he made himself, because he can
get to it.
He can morph, and he made himself look like Diane Lane. So he's
whoa, like Streets of Fire?
No,
or like
this movie. Like,
oh, you mean Martha Kent? Gotcha.
Yeah, Martha Kent, and then had a conversation with Lois Lane about like, you got to get out there, Lois. You got to do it.
A scene that is not what's weird and dumb in the Whedon cut, but still exists in a way where they bond over Clark's death. Does putting that useless thing in make the movie fail the Bechdel test?
You and I
would argue that the Amazons are immune to the Bechdel test because
they would never talk about men.
They would never talk about men. Yeah,
Period.
I think that they are grandmothered, out of the Bechdel test.
Unless they're
because
talking
they are
about
one-dimensional characters who only just go, the old ways, we must get Diana, the thing, the box, the arrow, the cube, the thing. Like, they're not characters at all. And plus we have to know their names.
Yeah.
So if you know the name of the brunette Amazon that looks like Bridget Moynihan, then it passes the Bechdel test. No. Otherwise, it does not.
Yeah. I would argue that they talk about Clark, though, so that it wouldn't have passed anyway.
Well, here's what I would argue about that. The scene goes on, like all scenes in this movie, for a while. Mm-hmm. But they have a conversation.
They do.
What is a conversation? Does one mention of a male person kill it, or can we talk about beat to beat? Because you could cut off any reference to him or whatever in the beginning of the conversation, and the rest of the conversation is about how her life is, and her life is not good, and she needs to get back out there. Marcia, Martian Manhunter.
Oh my God.
Marcia, I just did it right down.
Wow.
Is encouraging her to begin living her life again, not like go out and smash.
I know. I'm
trying to help the movie.
But then it also means that Martha Kent did not have that conversation with Lois Lane.
Because Zack Snyder, he does not care.
And then that's
he does not
really
care.
sad
they
and depressing.
Can't punch people into jelly, so he doesn't care about them.
But I think But they're so important to Superman.
Yeah, they're literally why he comes back to life and why he doesn't continue to just kill everybody on Earth.
You should care, Zack Snyder. You should care more. And not thrilled about that.
Smelling the sweater. That's the new Jumping the Shark.
It was just so weird. Another moment that was really weird was that they decided to put in, which was cut for the Whedon cut, was, okay, we show the Flash more. Okay, great. But he's going to save this girl from a car crash. While she's flying through the air slow motion, he touches her face and her hair, because he's got the hots for her. You are a weirdo. Save her. We do not need to see this.
Her. Yes.
You know? And even if you have known this person for a really long time, just freaking save her. I know you've slowed down time. No, you can caress. If you knew her, you could caress her later. Since you don't, it's even weirder and creepier.
Save those caresses, buddy boy. This movie's in 4:3 ratio because Zack Snyder had a bad idea once again, and nobody's going to tell him what to do, and it's his vision. His vision is a lot skinnier than most directors' visions.
Very tall.
There's only, speaking of tall, there's only a couple scenes that I think really even used it very well. And all it did was just make you feel like, oh, this is a very big phone I'm watching my movie on. There's that scene where it's magic. I don't really care. It's actually kind of cool, but they shoot the arrow across the world.
Right.
Whatever, and then it burns a temple down. A hastily composited temple, by the way. People touted the effects in this film, and I'm like, I'm not sure what you're talking about. There's
I thought the CGI was really bad.
Yeah, in a lot of spots it wasn't great. But Wonder Woman goes to pick up the arrow, and so the arrow is in the foreground, and it's an arrow that's like 3 feet long, so it's sticking up. And you've got Gal Gadot, who's like not as tall as you'd think, but still pretty tall behind it. And so it just had this sort of weird vertiginous kind of stretched out feeling, and I was like, it's okay. But that's about it. Most of the time, it's just center shots of people mildly reacting to things. Or looking off screen, and it's like, I wonder what they're looking at. Can't wait for the reverse. Anytime now.
Did you feel...
they're looking at a mountain or whatever.
Did you feel like there were a lot of reaction shots in this?
Mm-hmm. A lot of flat... we're still setting up the camera shots.
What was this character looking at? What are they thinking? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
Cyborg. He.
Let's talk about Cyborg.
We have to talk about Cyborg. I think you and I were talking about how he has kind of an arc, as much as anybody does in this movie that we don't really love.
He may be the only person with an arc.
Yeah. I do think that
then Lois gets her groove back.
Right.
Superman was literally dead and then just returns to being Superman. I wouldn't call that an arc.
No. He doesn't really deal with it a whole lot. It's like
Flash
he's like upset and then he's okay.
Just joins the League.
Yeah, like he literally
Whedon actually gave him an arc in that, I'm not good at this. Oh, now I feel more confident. Which is weird because he's already fought Boomerang. Apparently he's fought Gorilla Grodd because he knows Gorilla Sign Language. It's like, Grodd can talk with his mind. Why would he need...
sign language? Yeah.
You're going to have to explain that one to me.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
I think it's cool, like all of the stuff that he's able to do. They show a lot of his abilities more, like he's able to see things like electronically.
He's able to manifest the stock market.
Yes, that was.
He can make the bear and bull stop fighting.
Yeah, what was that? I mean, he helps this lady out, which is like, okay, this is maybe not completely legal, but your heart's in the right place, and so it's like
it's also totally against Zack Snyder's personal philosophy.
Yeah.
See, I was really worried by that.
Yeah.
Because they spend a lot of time on that.
They did.
They do a little mini movie about that. About this woman who loses her job and
is a single mother with 2 small children.
She's having trouble making it work. She gets evicted and they're basically on the street. And it ends at her being in an ATM where she is able to withdraw $100,000 because he's moved that money to her account.
Yes.
But this is the beginning of his arc where we seed the idea that his dad is telling him, like, you're more than just like a robot man now. Like, you can get into all the world's computer systems. You have the power to change things, to help or to hurt. And at the beginning of that arc, this is F the world Cyborg, right?
Yes.
This is a guy who's being tempted to use his powers in ways that he shouldn't. Mm-hmm. And so at the beginning of that arc, that's, when you decide to wrestle for money and you let Uncle Ben die, right?
Yeah, right.
So located in that part of his arc, he should not be doing this. He should not be giving this woman money she doesn't deserve.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, why
Where
not
are
just...
we going to?
Yeah, and plus, it disappears. It doesn't matter because the movie just ends.
No, we never come back to those characters.
We have to bring Jared Leto out. Yeah. So, like, you could later on... And plus, he's not really tempted to do anything else throughout the rest of the movie. He just, because you have to add the part where his dad dies, and then now he's like, oh, now I'm really going to fight this guy, even though I was fighting him before.
I know.
I don't get it. But maybe at the end you could just show that, like, yeah, now I understand that my power is important. It needs to be used well. Oh, hold on. I'm going to go check something out. And he's like, gives another person some money. Like he's still kind of moving things around.
Cool.
Nobody cares if Maxwell Lord gets swindled out of $1 million and then it ends up in somebody else's account.
Well, and then like at the beginning,
but none of that tracks.
Like before the accident,
you could nuke everybody, Vic.
Oh my gosh! Like we see his mom. She wasn't in the original, was she?
No.
And like
she's barely in this.
I know. We see he's like in trouble.
Oh, she's killed in a car accident.
I know. There's a lot of car accidents.
There's a lot of car accidents in this.
And like he's in trouble at school because he changed one of his friend's grades because he hacked into the system. And I'm like,
right, which
and it's like
is ostensibly
you're not really helping them though.
It's ostensibly bad, but again, that's another thing that he's doing. That's like, oh, he's using his powers to help people, but maybe he should stop that. And just go back to like not nuking everybody, but he could do it. He could do it.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, and then we have to see how
it's better than the Whedon cut, though.
Yeah, I know.
Dostoevsky.
And then we have to see how his mom died, and he got into the horrible,
Well, yeah, I mean that's
car crash,
I think that it's good that he is in the movie more, but people are like,
I do too.
Oh boy, but, Warner Brothers really did him dirty. All you're doing is just plugging into that narrative. The fact of the matter is, yes, we're introducing a new character. Yes, he becomes pivotal in stopping the Unity and the main plot of the thing.
Yes.
But you would cut this stuff from a 4-hour movie. You would cut him walking around through the internet and going to the stock market. That would all get cut. Yeah. None of that is important to this.
No, you're right.
Zack Snyder made this with all the footage he had and the extra footage that he got and just told a series of chapters and stories. Mm-hmm. It has like 5 first acts.
Yeah.
It goes on way too long.
Yes.
And his part would have been cut by any sane editor who was making a 2.5-hour movie.
I know.
And he doesn't even look that good. Like, I'm not ready to say that he's not a good actor.
Yeah.
Because when you're playing Robot Man, you don't
show a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he doesn't look great in the movie. I don't think that maybe they might have helped him.
Oh my gosh.
Joss Whedon did him a favor. No, that's not
I
true.
don't know about that. I mean, it's cool, like, seeing him help more to, like, at the end with the mother boxes and, like, Flash having to run really fast.
The hats were falling thick and fast from the sky at that point because every one of those things is like, the strongest man in the world has to pull apart something only he can.
Yeah, that's true.
Robot Man will find the right hack to hack the hack and save everybody. We failed. The world is exploding.
Yes.
But only the man who can run faster than light and go back in time can repair this.
Right.
And then also Wonder Woman cuts off Steppenwolf's head. Awesome, so great, so badass. She cuts his head off.
Why does she have to cut his head off?
I don't know.
Like, seriously.
Like that's too many finales. You know what I mean? There's too much going on there. And plus, it's got the problem of the Donner Superman movies where, well, the next time something goes wrong, just have Barry run back in time.
Well, and that's just it. We don't deal with that. We don't talk about that at all. Like, is there any fallout or negative things
Plus, there was
happen?
no suggestion that would be possible.
No.
And you can't. This is, speaking of 3 boxes that merge in on each other and become a effed up box.
One. Yeah.
This is like 3 solo or 4 or 5 solo films that are all being merged into each other.
Yes.
You would at some point have Barry do something else where it's like, Batman says something. He's like, what'd you say? He's like, oh, I didn't say anything. And then we would see that he's gone back in time a little, or he's experiencing like time shifts. Mm-hmm. He's like, guys, I don't think I should be careful or how fast I run because I can mess things up and go back in time. And then at the end of the movie, you go, Barry, you got to do this. You have to cross the streams, Barry. It's like,
right.
Cross the streams is bad. We shouldn't do that. No, we got to do that.
Right.
That's just writing a movie, man. That's just writing a movie.
The
guy that wrote this has an Oscar for screenwriting.
Wow. I don't feel like they really, there was a lot of new stuff for Aquaman in this.
Not really.
What do you think? I think it was more or less the same. I mean, they changed some things and some things were cut.
Yeah.
There was no singing or sniffing of sweaters.
That's what he got.
Yeah, right. There's a lot more Joe Morton and Jeremy Irons
Yeah,
in this.
I think Joe Morton probably came out the best. He probably worked the most days on the reshoots.
Yeah.
Although his character's done dirty.
Yeah, I know. It's cool, but like, I like seeing Alfred, but I don't think we necessarily need to see a whole lot more.
He's
of
one
Alfred.
of the only 2 actors in the film who have Oscars.
I know. The other which is Amy Adams.
Yeah, but let's not use him all that much, though.
Okay, I mean, I see your
Wrap it up.
point. I don't know that I have a whole lot else to say. Willem Dafoe is in this for like a quick second. Like I don't even know why.
You know what? I don't think Amy Adams does have an Oscar.
She doesn't?
No, I think she's been nominated a bunch of times.
Oh. So Jeremy Irons is the only person in this film.
For Reversal of Fortune.
Yeah.
But
okay.
anyway.
All right.
Still,
Yeah.
a 6-time nominee is like, maybe just more than going, Clark, I wish Clark was here.
I know.
I am a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist. You can wrap it all up in here's this explains everything. Oh, that is it better be good.
I thought of something.
Quick.
Lois Lane opens her drawer and we see a pregnancy test.
That was my thing.
Okay.
So this all is leading to Snyder's plans for, I guess this is technically 2 films. I don't know where the cut would have been. But
no clue.
For the 3rd chapter, we find out that Batman cucked Superman.
I freaking no. I hate everything about it.
Literally everything you need to know about this creator's approach to this material.
Yep.
So 4 hours of my life that I'll never get back.
Mm-hmm.
I give you no stars. May God have mercy on your soul.
Yeah. Here's my review. Don't watch this. We watched it, so you don't have to. I would not recommend.
But everybody's going to watch it.
Yeah, probably. But you're going to be mad afterwards.
Here's my review. This movie is the anti-life equation.
Oh.
In this dirty old part of the city where the sun refused to shine.
Well, I hope you enjoyed us complaining for 2 hours. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry if you didn't. You're probably used to it by now. But, yeah, I don't know. Looking for good things. Good things. Mazel mazel in the future.
I know.
But not great so far.
No.
Join us on social media at all the old familiar places by searching for Just Enough Trope. Also, subscribe to the show if you aren't currently. It's a good way to go. It's a good way to go.
Good way to go.
Good way to go. And also give us a rating and review on those platforms because that's how the computers know. Sometimes the computers they're a bull and they're a bear and they're fighting, or there's all the missiles are flying around.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Do a cyborg for us. Hack our fortunes. Give us a good rating and a review. That way, we move right up the scale.
Yeah.
So give us 5 buckets of Granny's peach tea.
Oh, no.
Which, speaking of Oscar winners, Holly Hunter was in that movie and they just blew her up with a piss bomb.
Yep.
So anyway.
Yep. Not great.
Well, hopefully with Jeff Johns, kind of on the outs and Zack Snyder, I guess, moving on, maybe things will change.
I know.
But until then, give us 5 stars. We'll be back next week to talk about something else. Until then, we're signing off. I'm your host, Caliban.
I'm your co-host, Mikan Hana.
Keep the geek fires burning.
I know it, baby. You know it too.